Hello and welcome. Thank you all for being here today on this January 6th, 2022. Oh, I notice I left 2021 in that slide. Sorry about that, but we know what year it is. And I'm really excited today to talk with Dominic Townsend, President of ABS Quality Evaluations, as well as he's on the board of ALN. Before we get underway, I just want to thank our patron members, Definitive Logic, Onuma System, ABS Quality Evaluations, especially today, and ABS Group, as well as our organizational members, which is a growing list, as you can see. So reach out to anyone at the ALN if you're interested in becoming a part. And with that, I will just say thank you all for being here. We'd love to hear from you if you're out there. So send any comments or questions, feedback to the chat, or use the Q&A function of the Zoom webinar. And we'll kick this thing off. Why don't you take it away, Jim Dieter?
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Well, first, hope everyone had a good holiday and stayed safe and healthy. I know personally, I know a lot more people getting at least colds and then testing negative, which that's good. That's what I did. That's why my voice is a little funky today. But please stay safe. So interesting, Nick left January 6, 2021 on the slide. A lot of us are thinking about that day to day. And while this discussion won't be about that, we did want to at least, weigh the fact that that's still on, still in our thoughts. And, hopefully, what we can do in ALN is to help make the country stronger and work in that direction. Dominic, welcome. And you have a few words you'd like to say, about the day?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Jim and the ALN for allowing me to speak today. And Happy New Year, everyone. I'm looking forward to the year and some great things. Unfortunately, today's a tough day in the history of the United States. And our hearts go out to the families that have been impacted by it, and hoping that moving forward that things become much better in this country and we continue to stay strong.
Good. Thank you. Thanks, Dominic. So usually we start off with with an origin question, but you've been on before, so you kind of already done that. But maybe you could tell us about a little bit about ABS Quality Evaluations and how they decided to get into, as an organization, decided to get into asset management.
Sure. Thank you, Jim. ABS Quality Evaluations, we've been around since 1990. Last year, or 2 years ago, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. So it's an exciting time for ABS. Our focus has really been involved in the business assurance and building trust with the organizations that we work with around the world. And asset management is a key component of business assurance activities. And as we build our organization and continue, we look for market segments that really follow the areas that we want to focus in, and asset management has been a natural area for us to play, and the future really looks bright for asset management activities in the Americas, I would say.
That's good. It's such a huge market. Internationally, everybody always talks about that the percentage of uptake in the United States on ISO's management system standards isn't as large as in some other places, but a smaller percent of a whole lot is a lot more than a small percentage, or a big percentage of not comparatively that much. So,
very true.
One of the topics that in the development effort, as we're working on the revisions to 55,000 to come out in a few years. There's a lot of talk, there and more broadly in ISO about the idea of management system standards. And it seems, the international experience is people don't just do one ISO management system standards, they tend to do 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, many of our clients, they see that rolling out multiple management system standards, depending on the market segments that they operate in, really benefits them as an organization. Not only does it provide return on investment and better financial controls, but also some of them like the health and safety standard, ISO 45000, is very focused on people, really making sure that people are protected, they understand the environments that they work in, and it tends to allow them to really make sure they implement activities to keep people safe and making sure that they get home to their families at night. Some of the newer programs there's a big focus in cyber as we look at the business activities around the world. What keeps people up at night is data protection and security. So, it's been a big movement for us. It's an area that we're going to be playing in quite heavily in over the next several years. So when you look at management system standards, organizations are implementing multiple programs, which really helps them benefit as an organization, both on a financial perspective, but also operationally and security-wise as well.
Yeah. So just to make sure everybody connects the dots there, you do evaluations and certifications in a variety of these ISO management system standards, right?
Correct. We're accredited to perform audits under various multiple standards around the world. Of course, the larger core ones are ISO 9, 14, 45, as well as aerospace and the automotive programs. But we're doing a lot more work in asset management activities, ISO 55,000, as well as ISO 27,000, which is cyber. So we have quite a few of the programs that we're accredited for to offer into the marketplace.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an interesting field. And the one question people always have too is, so why should I get certified?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, in my opinion, an organization can get certified because it really pulls together its organizational processes, allows the people and the organization to understand how they operate within the industries that they're working in, and benchmark themselves from facility to facility or across their peers in the industries that they operate in to really see how they perform. So to me, when an organization gets certified, they can really go out there and really drive their organization performance across the different division lines, as well as the programs that they're operating.
Yeah, a word that's lately come to my mind in response to that question is rigor. You can say we're going to do it, and we're going to do ISO 55,000 or some other standard, but when you make the commitment to get certified, then you're really saying, oh yeah, we're not just going to say, we're going to prove it.
Yep. And that's important. It's, organizations that roll it out, they really need to make sure they invest into the management system, making sure they have the people in place, and really being committed to the benefits of management system activities. To me, if in any business or work that you do, you really want to be committed to that and making sure that it's very successful. You're learning from it and you're continually improving. And to me, that's important whenever you're rolling out any type of business activity or management system program.
Yeah, I mean, the continuous improvement it's such a simple idea, but boy, it's not so obvious in a lot of corporate environments. I worked for government contractors for years doing, personal property management, and continuous improvement was not a concept, wasn't a requirement, so it wasn't a concept. It was you either pass or you fail, and you better pass.
Yeah, and it's the great organizations, they're always what I would call looking around corners, how they're preparing. They always want to get better and improve. And we go in and do our audits. Non-conformances might be raised, but you need to look at those as my ability to see how I can make my organization better. So it's like going to the doctor, right? And you're getting a health check. If you see things that need to be addressed, you want to make sure that you're addressing those to better yourself. Yeah. And it's the same philosophy.
A more interesting way, a perhaps interesting discussion, let me say that you and I have had before, and that we're again having in the ISO effort, is starting from the idea that the key concept of 55,000 is that assets are a thing to provide value. And there's lots of discussion about whether it's a strategic level document or an operational level document, and in the way it's applied. Do you have any thoughts or experience you'd like to share about that? Or?
Well, I think ISO 55000 and asset management, to me, it is very strategic, because as you're managing your assets, it's really making sure that you get better use out of them. But then it also has a large operational impact as well, because just to make it a more understanding for the average person, like one of our clients is the largest airport in the country, and we audit their facilities activity. So just think about if their power generations go down, it could shut down the airport. People can't fly home or get around. So when you look at that, it really has a big operational impact as well. So it's really about the strategy that you want to implement, make sure that the assets are properly maintained and controlled, and really controlling their life cycles, and really get a lot of benefit out of them to make sure that you don't have downtime, and to eliminate risk of situations that might occur.
Yeah, that's it's huge. I mean, risk is, you can't have a discussion about asset management without talking about risk, or risk and opportunity. And there's another whole ISO,
Absolutely. And then and a lot of the standards now are all risk-based, and they're built around that thought process.
Yeah. So I really have it's been a joy and a huge benefit to the ALN, since you began to participate in ABS quality evaluations, and the others, parts of ABS have now joined. So what do they do? We didn't talk about that.
ABS, it's our parent company is a classification society. We started our business off in the marine sector, making sure that organizations that operate out in the sea are developing their assets in a safe and environment way. And since then, we've built what's called ABS Group. And ABS Group is a unique organization. It's focused in not only in the marine sector, but we're very focused in risk and reliability, cyber, quality evaluations, which is our business assurance activities. So it's an organization that really builds trust out into the marketplace. So organizations that select us really value that work that we do to make sure that they're operating effectively, that if they're providing a service, that it's meeting certain expectations. So it's really to provide trust out to the marketplace that organizations are operating effectively.
Right. So you have there's the evaluation side, and then the other side is the consulting system side.
Yeah, it's our consulting, risk and reliability. We have a very large government practice, so we do a lot of work with FEMA. So we're very, and we just launched our cyber activity. So a lot coming out with ABS Group, and we're really excited about where the organization is going. We're very focused, like I said, on trust and really building some new market segments out in the world. And risk and reliability is a very core component of our activities as well.
Yeah, well, so where I was starting to go before we have a chance to talk about ABS a little bit more, was I think it's a really great example of what we're trying to do with the ALN. Is as many people have heard me say, we're trying to attract members without offering a goodie bag. It's like, you go to the conference and you get the bag full of stuff, and then you wonder, what is this stuff? But whether it's freebies or whatever else. But we really like to refer to, of course, the ALN as a vehicle, not a destination. And I think ABS has been able to really leverage that and take advantage of it. And I think the fall event, when we had the ALN Espanol event that you were heavily involved in, was a great example of that. Can you share anything about how that came together, or what from your
we wanted to focus that's a good question. We wanted to really focus on activities outside of the US to really get an understanding of how other organizations in the world are operating. And when you look at South America and Central America, they've been very active in asset management activities. Two of our largest clients which are in the utilities field, have really felt the large benefits of implementing an asset management program. The infrastructures were getting old, They really wanted to make sure that their assets were properly maintained and really making sure that they drive the life cycle value out of them. So with them implementing this program, it's really been a large benefit for those organizations and groups in South America that have launched it. And we were really excited to highlight two clients that were able to do it, AES and Enel. Both of them are very high profile clients of ours. We love partnering with them. And they're just great organizations that really see the benefit of management system programs and have really implemented them effectively. And which kind of leads into the US is that we're hoping that now with the infrastructure bill passing and that a lot of organizations will start to get a lot of funding to develop and really start to revamp the infrastructure, particularly around the transportation market segments. It will really drive a lot of value in asset management activities into the next several years.
That's great. The I'm sorry, my mind was in two places at once. I'm sorry. It's hard to do. I can't talk and think at the same time.
I do the same sometimes.
So, from an ALN board perspective, and we're really, it's great to have you on the board. You have a lot of experience in associations, and your business experience is hugely valuable. For those that don't know, about 2 years ago, we went from just having some elected officers that had been really, since our founding, had been in place, and we initiated a board of directors. And it's been a huge advantage to the ALN, and it keeps improving. But we were meeting monthly, now we meet quarterly. To provide more information about that to anybody that's interested. But the board really is a decision-making body for the ALN in terms of strategy and where we're going and how we're going to do it. So from that perspective, what do you see as a board member for the ALN in 2022 or and beyond, whatever?
Well, to me, the ALN has been involved for 2 years now, and I've seen it really grow over the last couple of years. And not only yourself, but all the members and the other board of directors, we're very large advocates to really grow asset management activities and what our focus is and mission. But we're also looking at other institutions and governments that we've been able to work with over the last several years, and I see our attendance growing. And just on our webinars the last couple of years, or last year, we had 2 of them that had over 100 attendees. So it's just really encouraging to see that our messages are getting across. People are finding value, and that we're learning as a group as well as we grow. So it's really been quite encouraging, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's a little challenging sometimes to, again, back to offering the goodie bag, is some groups come to us and they go, well, do you have thousands of attendees? And they go like, well, we're not really an asset management organization. We're an asset leadership organization. And we ran into in a variety of different settings. I could go into a lot of detail, but people tend to, coming from an asset management perspective, have tended to bump their head on a ceiling that they can't get past. That the senior leaders, really weren't listening to, asset management professionals in many cases, at least in the U.S. And that was, I think, part of was kind of a brilliant idea to come up with the name of asset leadership and network, the connections. And it's really increasingly dawning on us just, how focused we are on that in appealing to senior policy people, senior leaders in organizations, rather than, so our guest list is usually more about who than how many.
Exactly.
But large numbers are always really good too. No question about it. So Mike, I was telling Mike Bordenaro that he should host this today because he had several ideas on what we should be talking about. So Mike, you want to join us and cover the spots that you were asking me to do that I didn't get done so far, or whatever you'd like to do?
Thank you. And I'd like to, say Happy New Year to everyone also. And thank Dominic, just like Jim said. We had
oh, wait, I blew it. I blew it.
You did?
This is my first opportunity to
All right.
publicly say that as of the December ALN Board of Directors meeting, Mike Bordenaro, or Boldenaro, as we like to call him sometime, finally agreed to give up his title of Director of Communications and an ex officio member of the Board of Directors. And Mike is now the Executive Director of the Asset Leadership Network and a voting member of the Board of Directors. So here.
So thank you. That's quite the honor. First time I ever got voted into a position, and it feels really good. And I promise to redouble my efforts. I actually already have in helping us achieve our mission of having an impact in helping organizations dramatically improve value from their assets. And using a structured asset management approach is the best way to do that. And ISO 55000 is the best structure we've seen so far, but we don't care if you think your asset management system is Ask Charlie. If that's your structure, then follow your structure, whatever it is. I don't know.
That's a good one. I like that. We should use that.
Yeah. But at the board meeting, Dominic, we talked about a lot of the activities, and I wondered if anything struck you. We're introducing monthly roundtables in 2022. We're going to start going to quarterly summits. What did you think?
I think that, we're becoming much more active in different groups and institutions. And, one of them is the Government Finance Officers Association with its 22,000 members. I mean, to me, getting involved in more of those industry associations and government groups will really stimulate the thought process behind asset management activities and really get organizations to think through it and what those benefits are. So to me, those are the exciting things that we're getting involved in. We also brought up the Federal Fleet Asset Management Group. So there's some good things that we've been really focused on and really trying to get involved in those organizations to understand what they're doing, right? Which allows us to see what we need to do to help them foster their activities and growth and make them better organizations such as ourselves.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up the Government Finance Officers Association. We've got a really good relationship with them, and we're learning that we're very far ahead of them in terms of asset management, and we've got to meet them at their level of what they're ready to accept. So you had mentioned I think American Chemical Association.
The American Chemical Distributors Association. They're located in Washington, and they have their asset member group is very focused on distribution. So that's one area that we also are going to be targeting, and especially managing their large chemical plants and the distribution of chemicals. So they have a lot of assets that they manage. Mm-hmm. So that's another industry group that we want to focus on and see if we could develop.
Yeah, compliance is a important value out of asset management, and chemical companies and distributors could probably really benefit from that.
Yep.
Then Jim, at the board meeting, we talked about our ALN industry asset leadership boards. And I was happy to hear you say that you think those are going well. What do you think about them in 2022?
Well, it's, we've sort of had this, emerging as an idea. And then over the last year or two, Mike has made it a reality. But it's really an opportunity to take, we talked about asset leadership being, the policy and, more top management, portion of asset management. And our overall broad approach. I think asset management is typically a very broad concept. But allows us to bring the depth in it of working with in various industries. We talked about transportation, we talked about law enforcement. The part that we have to get right is, as Dominic mentioned, there's already existing asset management groups there. And part of our foundational concepts are we don't duplicate what other people are doing. We try to find ways to leverage it and help make it better. And I think, we're on solid ground now to bring more information. And I think just the two examples we just talked about we're right there. Just the state municipal, the amount of assets owned by state municipal is, I thought the federal government had a lot of assets, but state municipal, really,
Yeah, 50 states and 6 territories, that adds up.
yeah. So but the trick is we're looking for organization sponsors, for those boards, to work together with the ALN and other members of those boards to, promulgate the information and to bring, what we bring, the asset leadership portion, and more information about asset management to those sectors, and to develop the sector asset leadership strategies, as part of it.
Thank you for that segue, because just before this program started, Moshe Nelson from Grant Thornton called and said that his transportation colleagues at Grant Thornton want to start a sector asset leadership strategy for the transportation industry. Perfect year to do that with all the infrastructure spend coming up.
Yep.
So other organizations that are interested in joining in our transportation asset leadership board to help write that sector asset leadership strategy, please contact us. And we're going to be starting on that next week.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I'm talking to another, major corporation about the state municipal angle, getting involved and being part of an initiative, both from the ALN and then, of course, that works hand in hand with our member organization. I mean, it's different being a trade association than a member association. I think, a lot more people have experience, of course, with professional associations and trade associations. But I was fortunate, at several points along the way to be able to get involved in trade associations, from a government contractor perspective. And it's, it's a powerful angle, and but it's a little different. It's a little different.
So Dominic, is there anything that you're looking forward to working through the ALN to help ABS with? Or
Well, of course, we want to continue to drive value for the ALN and, not only to build business, but also to, give our expertise and to really help organizations as become certified. To me, there's a lot of benefits for organizations that do go the 15 rounds and get certified towards ISO 55000. And, we have some great clients. We have the University Health System. We have, one of the largest airports in Atlanta, as well as our key clients down in South America. So, again, we're just excited about being part of it.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate what you've brought. And I was really excited about the ALN Espanol activities, and the owner representatives were excited about continuing. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing with ABS quality evaluation, is really building up that ALN Espanol.
That's what the thought that I lost before is when Dominic was talking about AES. We had participation early on, a little bit, on the U.S. tag from AES, and it was a gentleman named Mark Mueller, who I think has since moved to Australia, and maybe has moved on to something else. I don't know, but I keep saying when I got involved in asset management, my the relevant analogy was I just feel like I had my blinders kept getting removed. I thought, oh, now I see everything, and then I realized, no, I'm still not seeing it all. And when I talked to Mark Mueller and realized that AES's assets were utilities in countries around the world,
Yeah, they're big.
it's like, oh, that's a big asset. And it's also plays into the idea that all assets are systems. You can look at a water utility as, the focus, and it has lots of assets, or you can look at the water utility as the asset from a higher organizational perspective.
Yeah.
And then many of the assets, of course, of the water utility can be broken down into their various component parts. So it's quite a complex and interesting field.
It is. It totally is.
Well, thank you both for your comments today. Nick, I think you can come in and we can end right on time today. That's a good way to start the year.
Sure. Cool.
And time is good.
Yeah, just want to thank our patron members, Definitive Logic, Onuma System, ABS Quality Evaluations, especially for Dominic's participation on the board and here today on this program, and ABS Group, as well as our organizational members. And it's a growing list. And if you're out there and interested in working with the ALN, please reach out to any of us here. We would love to hear from you and figure out how we can bring value to your organization, ours, and the world.
And Happy New Year to you too, Nick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a great year so far. Looking forward to continuing the work we do and carrying on.
We'll have a lot of announcements this month because things are really moving quickly. We're very excited, and thank you all for attending, and have a good week until we see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year. Be safe.